On a cold January afternoon in Pakistan, in a small, tight-knit neighborhood, a 7-year-old girl stepped outside her home. She was going to visit her aunt, just a few streets away, a familiar journey she had taken before. She skipped down the lane, trusting the world around her. She never came back. What followed was not just the brutal murder of a child, but a seismic national awakening. It exposed a deep undercurrent of fear, systemic failure, and a society under immense pressure. This is the tragic story of Zainab Ansari, the case that shook Pakistan to its very core. Zainab Ansari lived in Kasur, a historic but often overlooked city in Pakistan's populous Punjab province. To her family, she was the center of their world. Described as cheerful, bright, and full of life, her laughter was a familiar sound in her home. Like countless children in similar communities across the country, Zainab enjoyed a degree of freedom. Walking short distances alone to visit relatives or friends was a normal part of life. It was a sign of trust in the community, a testament to a perceived safety that countless families relied on. No one, not her parents, not her neighbors, could have imagined that this everyday act of childhood independence would become a national nightmare, a moment that would forever divide time into before and after. The date was January 4th, 2018. As the afternoon sun began to wane, Zainab told her parents she was heading to her aunt's house. She stepped out. Hours ticked by. Dinner time approached and then passed. A gnawing worry set in. Her family sprang into action, searching the familiar streets, knocking on neighbors' doors, their calls for Zainab growing more desperate with each passing moment. The familiar paths now felt ominous. As night engulfed Kasur, hope began to curdle into dread. The family did what any family would do. They went to the police. What started as a frantic missing persons report was the first thread in a tapestry of horror that was about to unravel. For 5 agonizing days, Kasur held its breath. Then, on January 9th, the unthinkable became reality. Zainab's body was found in a garbage dump, shockingly close to her own home. The news exploded. Kasur was paralyzed by grief. But the shockwave didn't stop there. It radiated out, consuming the entire nation. Medical reports confirmed the unspeakable. Zainab had been sexually assaulted and murdered. This was the trigger. A nation's collective heart broke, and that heartbreak turned into a raging fire of anger. Parents across Pakistan looked at their own children with a new, terrifying fear. The streets of Kasur, and then cities like Lahore, Karachi, and Islamabad, filled with thousands of protesters. Their cries were not just for Zainab, but for every child. They chanted against incompetence, against apathy. The case was no longer just a crime, it had become a devastating symbol. A symbol of weak child protection laws, of delayed investigations, of a system that seemed to fail its most vulnerable citizens when they needed it most. The pressure on law enforcement was unprecedented and immense. The whole country was a witness, and it demanded answers. In the initial chaos, the investigation seemed to stumble. Police faced a tsunami of public fury. Several suspects were detained, only to be released. Confusing, conflicting statements from officials eroded public trust. At one point, a theory emerged suggesting a personal enmity was behind the crime, a claim that was later retracted, but only added to the public's perception of a botched and insensitive response. But amid the noise and the political pressure, a silent, scientific process was underway. Forensic teams had collected crucial evidence, including DNA samples. This evidence became the key. The samples were run through Pakistan's growing national DNA database, and there, a match was found. It led investigators to a man named Imran Ali, a man who lived in the same neighborhood as Zainab, a man who, until that moment, was not a known criminal to the public. On January 23, 2018, he was arrested. The revelation that followed was perhaps even chilling. Authorities disclosed that Imran Ali was not a first-time offender. His DNA, they alleged, linked him to a series of similar assaults and murders of young girls in the Kasur area over the previous years. The monster was not a stranger from the shadows. He was a neighbor. The fear in the community deepened from horror to a profound betrayal. Under interrogation, Imran Ali confessed. He confessed to the rape and murder of Zainab. He also, according to investigators, admitted to his involvement in other heinous crimes. The trial that followed was swift, conducted under the blinding spotlight of a nation's gaze. The prosecution's case was built on an unassailable foundation: DNA evidence, forensic reports, and the accused's own confessions. On February 18, 2018, barely a month after Zainab's body was found, the verdict was delivered. Imran Ali was sentenced to death on multiple counts, including murder, rape, and terrorism. For many, the verdict was a moment of grim relief, a sign that justice, however delayed, could be served. But in the eyes of Zainab's parents, and for a scarred nation, the victory was hollow. No verdict could bring back that smiling little girl. The pain of the crime had become a permanent national scar. Zainab Ansari's story transcends the details of a single crime. It became a brutal catalyst, forcing Pakistan to stare into a mirror and confront some of its darkest realities. It exposed catastrophic gaps in child protection systems, from community vigilance to police response times. It highlighted the desperate need for robust, integrated national databases to track repeat offenders. The public outcry intensified discussions around legal reforms, leading to the passage of stricter laws against child sexual abuse in some provinces. The Zainab Alert System was proposed and later enacted to speed up responses to missing children cases. But the true legacy is more profound. Zainab's name became a rallying cry, a symbol of a stolen innocence that awakened a collective conscience. It reminded millions that trust in the system is a privilege that must be earned through relentless vigilance and reform. Her story is a heartbreaking reminder that justice, no matter how severe, can never truly undo a loss. It can never fill the empty space at a family's dinner table. Zainab Ansari is remembered today not just as a victim, but as a silent, powerful force for change. A reminder that the safety of children is the ultimate measure of a society's health, and that silence and apathy are the allies of those who would do them harm.